Is the Bitcoin bull trend weakening? If you're interested in knowing more about this, please keep watching. Bybit is one of the best exchanges I've ever used. It provides great market depth, a smooth user experience, and an impeccable interface. So go ahead and click the link below. Complete KYC and deposit $100. Then, you'll immediately receive a Bitcoin futures contract worth $1,000. Just click the link below. Let me demonstrate it once. Click the link below. Complete KYC, deposit $100. And you can choose whether to go long or short. It will open a position worth $1,000 for you right away, with no waiting required. If the price moves in the direction you chose by 10%, your investment will double. Your capital will double. As your initial investment is only $100. 10% of $1,000 is $100, meaning that you can withdraw $200. Now, let's return to the Bitcoin market. Let's look at the daily chart. The golden cross of MACD we've been anticipating will likely occur in the coming period, such as next week, or even as soon as this weekend. However, a golden cross does not serve as a long signal. A golden cross simply represents the previous trend weakening, but it does not indicate a turning point. Now, let's zoom in. On a smaller time frame, you'll notice this. First, let's highlight this area. This range represents the previous S/R reversal. Okay. Just like this area we saw earlier. It has support here, and another here. And when the price reached this point, it tested twice consecutively, and formed effective resistance. Moreover, it failed twice consecutively, within a short period of time, testing and failing repeatedly, within a short time frame. Now, let's zoom in on this chart a bit more. When looking at this chart, doesn't it resemble a certain market phase? Okay, let's review. The current phase we're in is the formation of a range. The price movement is an oscillation along this box. And in the end, the price breaks below the box. When it breaks below, doesn't this pattern resemble another one we've seen before? Although the time frames are different, I believe they are remarkably similar. Here we have support. And after the price breaking below, there was a long hammer. After the hammer formation, what is price action trying to do? Essentially, it boils down to two behaviors. First, the price is above the support level, maintaining weak support, without initiating a strong rebound. Second, it's below the support level, attempting to rebound, but unable to return to the original position, or rebound back to the initial support level. In my opinion, the current situation belongs to the latter. Meaning, the price broke below, and formed a hammer, but the rebound couldn't reach back to the original support level. So what does the current price movement resemble? Now, if we look at the weekly chart, and go back to this position, let's draw a line on the chart. Right here, this area, you can see, at 30,000, it's undoubtedly a strong support level. After the rise, it held for a while. And then after May 19th, it underwent an accumulation phase, without breaking below the line. Now, when the price reaches this point, I believe it didn't hold. It definitely didn't hold. What happened was, after breaking below, the candlestick had a long lower shadow. And this hammer even had a significant volume. So, this lower shadow is definitely valid. After the hammer formation, and a bit of support, it returned to this line. After that, it tested the initial resistance, where it was originally a support. The price couldn't go back up. After breaking below, it couldn't go back up. Actually, at this position, it formed a very small range of oscillation. The range is very narrow, and the price couldn't break the upper boundary of this range. Finally, it started a sharp decline. Why am I so certain about this position? Because if we zoom in and enlarge the chart and the time frame, we can discover something very interesting. It has been testing the same resistance level multiple times. It has become a strong resistance because the price movement is below the support resistance. Alright. We can pull the chart backward, and we'll notice that it resembles a false breakdown. Before this, the candlesticks penetrated the range with their lower shadows. The S/R reversal happens in a narrow range within the white box, and we can see some lower shadows of the candlesticks penetrate this range. So this white box is highly effective. The strongest support isn't below here. It's not. In fact, the price has been moving below the support level after a downside breakout. However, the current situation bears a striking resemblance to the previous pattern. The price moves below the line after breaking through the support, and it forms a narrow range again. A very narrow one. In such cases, if we expect a bullish move next, we need to see the price reclaiming above 27,400 to 27,500 at least. Only then can we consider the possibility of the bulls gaining some ground. If the price fails to reclaim this 27,400 to 27,500 range, I believe the bulls have no chance. Let's switch to a smaller time frame. You can clearly see the significance of this level. Now let's analyze the volume. This hammer candlestick pattern is undoubtedly a bullish signal. However, when the price is approaching the resistance, the volume shrinks. The volume is insignificant too in another retest of resistance. Yesterday's volume during the decline was substantial, although some may argue that this bearish candle has a high volume. We can't count it because of its long lower shadow. That's why we can't include it. We compare the bearish volume appearing with the rebounding performance here, which is bullish, and the price decline here is compared to the previous bullish bounce. The bearish momentum is actually stronger. Currently, the bears have more power. Now, let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's movement is similar to Bitcoin's, but it has a different S/R reversal level. It's somewhere around here. Let's illustrate it. It's around 1,830. Now, let's have a look at the US stock market. It seems like there might be some action happening soon. You can see it's showing signs of a breakout. The price has started to rise. There were some S/R reversals here. Here, we had some resistance before. Now, it has broken through and started to rise. Could this have an impact on Bitcoin's market? I reckon we should focus mainly on Bitcoin. Because, in the past, during the pre-bull market phase, we experienced complete decoupling between the US stock and cryptocurrency markets. Their trends were the opposite. Although the proportions might not be the same, the directions were aligned. For example, when the US stock market was going up, Bitcoin's trend was also upward. When the US stock market was going down, Bitcoin's trend was also downward. However, in 2019, we experienced decoupling. So we need to be cautious about this situation. Let's take a look. After the end of Bitcoin's small bull run and the oscillation phase before the bull market, when did it occur? It happened around the beginning of 2020, extending back to the mid-year of 2019. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. If we observe Bitcoin, okay, let's go back to around this level before March 12th. This position, okay? It was roughly starting from the mid-year of 2019. What kind of trend was it? It was an oscillation, followed by a downward trend. In mid-year of 2019, the price oscillated and went down over and over again. It went through an oscillation, followed by a gradual upward movement. Now, let's see how the US stock market performed. The US stock market followed a clean and decisive pattern, forming a small W-shaped bottom. After breaking out from the W pattern, the market experienced a continuous upward trend. This pattern was quite different from Bitcoin's movement then, as Bitcoin was still oscillating downward. The US stock market had already started its upward movement much earlier, indicating a divergence in their trends. I believe that a similar situation could potentially occur again. Therefore, it is crucial to focus primarily on Bitcoin's market conditions. If the bullish momentum in Bitcoin lacks further strength, I will respect the current bearish dominance in the market. Alright, thank you. You're welcome. To like and share my videos and subscribe to my channel. Turn on the little bell button to show me your greatest support. Thank you so much. Bye bye.